Good morning, Niner fans. It is officially 49ers game day. Let me say that again. It is officially 49ers game day. Oh my God, it feels great saying that. It felt great waking up this morning knowing that it was game day today. I can't believe it. I'm excited. I'm hyped out of my mind. I know it's preseason, but still, that just means we're one day closer to the real season. I'm hyped up. I can't wait. The 49ers play some football today. Let's go. Richard, what's good? Stephen Reynolds says, we're back, baby. Eddie says, finally. It's been a long off season, and now we are finally here in the heart of the year. This is when the year gets good. We got stuff to do on Sundays. I'm hyped up, man. Trey Lance starting today. This is what everybody's saying. It's a big moment for him. It's a great opportunity, and it is. I'm hyped up for Trey. He gets the opportunity today to go out there and showcase himself. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities with the 49ers, a lot of injuries over the years. And, it's unfortunate. But today we get to see Trey Lance play a first half of football. I'm excited. I know it's not with the starters, but, man, this is a good moment for him. I hope he takes it and makes the most out of it. I'm excited for the younger players. There's no starters. So today's one of those, games where you really want to see the future of this team and the rookies and the backups and the players that are really fighting to make this roster. It's a 53-man roster when the preseason's all said and done, and only the best of the best can make it. But sometimes we find some gems. They come out of nowhere. They come out of the woodworks, and they really show us that, wow, this guy, when he's on the field, he's damn good. Like last year was Jordan Mason, and every year there's always a guy that comes up and you're like, oh, man, they can't afford to lose this guy. Even Brock Purdy last year in the preseason, I remember he was slinging it. I remember the Green Bay game. I was there. He's slanging a little touchdown, corner route, fade touchdown. I can't remember who he throws it to, but I remember first touchdown, little corner route against the Packers, and it's like, man, guy has some talent. So these preseason games matter for those players that aren't a lock to make the team, and you also got to hope that they get through it without any injuries. So, oh man, I'm hyped. Debbie says she's hyped. Oh, PHX says never wanted to watch a preseason game so bad. I feel like that's the vibe. Everybody's just excited. It was a long off season. It was kind of a drag out off season. It wasn't really too much exciting going on. Usually the 49ers are in the center of, big time talks. Last year was the Debo and this and that. I mean, yeah, we had the quarterback drama, but it wasn't as dramatic as it really was in the past when we drafted Trey Lance and things like that. And where are we going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo? George Kittle's contract and Fred Warner. It all kind of played out a certain way. This year wasn't, until now, the Nick Bosa stuff really hasn't festered up during the offseason. It was quiet. It was content creators stirring up drama between Brock and Trey Lance. That was really what it is. And the biggest story was, will Brock Purdy be healthy? And that's what we were getting updates for was, oh, Brock Purdy's recovering well. Oh, he's now throwing in Jacksonville. And then he had media people just creating controversy there. But it was a long off season. Debbie says she's hyped. PHX says hope Trey balls. Steve Reynolds says, who's your 5 players to watch preseason today? This is a great question. We just talked about this just a few seconds ago, that the preseason's about the young players, the players that need to step up, right? And maybe make a name for themselves, or just rookies and in general. So I'm looking for Ronnie Bell. I talked about him earlier on Instagram, that this is a guy I really feel might be that preseason warrior type guy. Again, there's a log jam at wide receiver. There's a hole at the return spot, and we still don't know who's going to be the wide receivers after Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel. So Ronnie Bell, I'm gonna keep an eye out for him, and also Danny Gray. Like those two guys, I feel like they have a golden opportunity to crack this roster. Whether it be a return man or another 6th or 5th receiver on this team. So I'm looking for these guys. Ronnie Bell had a great training camp. He had a great mini camp. He's been really showing out. So I'm excited for Ronnie Bell, as I am with all the other receivers. But I'm really focused in on Ronnie Bell. Jake Moody, man, I know it's crazy to sit here and list a kicker, but I'm listing a kicker on my top 5 players to watch, because Jake Moody, they drafted him in the 3rd round. Can he knock 60-yard field goals? Yes, but can he do it in a game? We've seen him look great in training camp and all that stuff, but now we need to see him do it in a game, in the NFL game. I saw him in college, great kicker. They did spend a 3rd round pick on this guy, and it was a very scrutinized draft pick. I'm excited to see Jake Moody. Is it crazy to sit here and tell you that I'm excited to watch a kicker on the preseason? I'm hyped up for a kicker. I'm not gonna lie to you. Number three, I'm gonna stick to the offensive side, and then I'll run to the defense and pick my last two. I'm gonna go Jordan Mason, man. This guy was by far and away probably the greatest story last year on preseason. I mean, other than Brock when that happened, but this guy had like a 1% chance to make the team. Nobody even knew who Jordan Mason was. I remember watching him in camp. I was like, oh, this guy's it. The guy runs like Marshawn Lynch, mini Marshawn. Made the final roster. They cut Trey Sermon, and they kept this dude, and he was a baller last year. When he got his opportunities, he stepped in, made some big plays. I'm hyped to see Jordan Mason. I mean, TDP had a really good camp too. No disrespect, but I'm excited to see Jordan Mason. I think he could be running back too. The 49ers are a run-heavy team, so expect him to run the ball a lot in preseason, just like they always do. So excited for Jordan Mason. On the defensive side of the ball, and again, there's so many players to watch on this. I could sit here and list at least 20 players, but we're going to go top five. On the other side of the ball, defense, it's their number one rookie this year is Jair Brown, safety. He's the future. Him and Hufanga are going to be the future of this defense, man. I'm telling you, these two guys already got a good chemistry going on. I saw that in training camp, but I'm really, really excited to see what this kid can do in the preseason. He's going to be a starter in preseason. He's probably going to get out there, get a lot of reps. He was their big pick this year. They didn't have a first round pick, so they went and took Jair Brown. And a lot of people thought he was a first-round talent. This guy is a playmaker. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. And a lot of the other secondary players, they got an opportunity to make a name for themselves, to try to find a roster spot because that secondary isn't etched in stone yet. But I'm loving what Jair Brown shows on his film. I saw it. I watched a lot of it this offseason, and I just like his mentality. So I'm excited to see Jair Brown. And then another rookie defensive player, I'm going to go D. Winters. I mean, there's so many players you can name. Drake Jackson. I don't know if he's going to play this first game because he had a hamstring issue. But I'm going to go D. Winters here. I'm a big fan of this guy. When he was drafted, everybody's like, oh, dude, this guy, linebacker, 49ers, those two go together like a horse and carriage. It's a beautiful combination. And he came into training camp, and he really started to just shine, right? So I love D, and he kind of feels like a young Dre Greenlaw, Aziz Al-Shir type guy, specifically Greenlaw. And those two guys had a good vibe in training camp. So, yeah, D. Winters, that's the fifth guy I'm going to kind of keep an eye out for. I think he's going to have an explosive training camp. So we'll see. Let's see. Oh, man, we got some great comments here. Playing for a safe game. Yeah, hopefully it's safe. There's no injuries. Debbie says, we pray for an injury-free game. We pray. Susan says, I don't recall Trey playing in the opening preseason game last year. Did he? I do remember him being Preston Purdy straight out of the gate. Yeah, Trey didn't play the first preseason game last year because he was named the starter last year. And, starters don't play those first games. So Trey did not play that first preseason game last year. So you're absolutely correct. And I, too, was impressed with Purdy out the gate. 49er Ben, what's good? He says, Monster Mason, Jordan Mason. Yeah, I'm excited about the guy. Hyped up. Mario Gonzalez says, Alfredo Gutierrez playing today. Yeah, he should be out there playing. He's on the international development program, so he's going to stick around. Hopefully we get to see this offensive line really step up because the starters aren't playing. This is the test. I wasn't impressed with them in training camp, so now let's see what they can do in a game. These backups have a lot to play for. You know what I mean? So Steven says, I'm hyping Moody. That's good. Mark says, Tate Martin, Deshaun. Deshaun Jameson. That's another guy we got to keep an eye out for. Undrafted free agent, defensive back out of Texas. This guy, I think, could be a return man. I think he might be the return man. I know a lot of people think he might be there to be a corner or whatnot. Maybe eventually. I think they have better corners on the roster ahead of him, although he did show out in training camp. But if you watch his stuff from college, he was a return man, a quite good return man. So I know a lot of people are thinking Ronnie Bell or Danny Gray might win that return spot, but keep an eye on Deshaun Jameson, defensive back. I think he might be the sneaky sleeper pick for return man. We'll keep an eye on that situation. Now, that's a big battle. I think the return man position is going to be a battle for the 49ers coming through. PHX is number 69. Watch for him. Yeah. Spencer Wagey, if you guys remember, I was live with Larry Krueger all off season for the most part. We're going to go back live this season. We just took a little break, training camp and everything. We got busy. But he put me on Spencer Wagey. Like, this guy was so hyped. Larry Krueger was so hyped on Spencer Wagey. North Dakota kid, and he said he's going to look good, Raj. He's going to look good. And he looked damn good in training camp. I saw some flashes. So watch out for Spencer Wagee. I think you're right, PHX. I think he gets a sack in today's game. What's up, Eric? Terrence says, let's see our backup O-line work and our secondary. Yeah, fingers crossed. Those backups have to step up and show out, especially those O-linemen, because you might be a backup today, but in 4 months from now, if there's an injury, you ain't going to be backing up. You're going to be starting. So these guys have to really start stepping up and developing. That's what the preseason's all about. These guys right now are backups, but in the future, they might end up becoming starters or a person that has to start because of an injury. So these guys are important for us. That's why the preseason is important. Tay Martin, Mark says, yeah, Tay Martin, he had some good moments in training camp. He had some last year, too. So I feel like the 49ers have a lot of good young talent, and I'm excited about it all. But at the end of the day, 49ers, Raiders, this is it. It's the last preseason game of the week. Actually, it's the 49ers, Raiders. So if you want to think about it as the prime time matchup, the 49ers got the prime time matchup of preseason. I mean, it's the last game of preseason. All eyes on us, right? Eric says, what time do you all play today? Actually, a big Seahawks guy, but I'm not like most of them. Well, I appreciate you for not being like most of them, Eric. The 49ers play at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. So Niners, Raiders, I'm excited. If you're a Niner fan, I mean, you got to be outside out your mind. 49ers playing against Jimmy Garoppolo. Will he play? I don't know. I haven't seen any Raiders reports. I haven't seen anything yet. I don't think they're going to play their starters, but some teams have. Some teams have in the preseason. So Derek Carr right now is playing. They're playing the start. Maybe the Raiders might play their starters. So it's going to be cool to see Jimmy on the other side. It's going to be a little weird, but it is going to be kind of cool. Like it's going to be a weird moment. But, the Raiders and the Niners have had a lot of history over the years. Had a lot of players from the Niners go to the Raiders. Unfortunately, I remember when Jerry Rice was there, there's a whole list of players that went from, Niners to the Raiders. But the worst one to me was Jerry Rice. We talked about this earlier. That one just burned a hole in my heart, So we'll see what happens. Javon Kinlaw, keep an eye on, says Mark. Yeah, let's see if Kinlaw can make it through this camp preseason healthy. He showed out in training camp this year. I'm really excited for Javon. I'm just more happy for the guy. He seems to have his head up, really screwed on well this year. He seems like he's in a good place mentally. And, his body's in great shape. It's probably the best shape it's been in his whole career. You guys got to realize he's had tons of injuries, and it's unfortunate for him. He's had to battle through those. But I feel like this is a guy that if he can be healthy, he can play up to his potential, or at least be a nice integral part of the rotation and give us some type of value. He was a first-round pick. Has he lived up to it? Absolutely not. But I'm happy for the guy. So far, he's healthy. He hasn't had any snags yet. But again, let's see how he does on the field. It's a lot different when all that constant wear and tear is coming down. But I'm praying for Kinlaw. I think he had a good training camp, and I hope it continues into the season. Excited for that guy. Jebby says, score prediction. It's hard to predict these preseason games. You really don't know what the backups are going to look like. But I'll give you a score prediction. I'm going to go 24-17 Niners over the Raiders. I say a 7-point dub in Vegas, in Sin City, in my hometown. We're going to leave victorious back to the Bay. 24-17 Niners. That's the way I see it coming out. I think defense will make some plays. I think Jair Brown will have an interception. I think the Niners have about 4 sacks. And I think that's the way it ends up. I think Trey Lance drops 2 tutties. And I think that Sam Darnold has 2 touchdowns. That's the way I see it coming out. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Peter Park says, let's all stop capping. We're dying to see Darnold. I think a lot of people actually are dying to see Darnold. I know we might be joking. Some people that might think you're joking. But no, I really think so, because we're hyped up on Trey. We want to see him get a start. But let's see what Sam Darnold could do on this team, right? We got to see if anything happens with one of these quarterbacks and Sam Darnold's thrusted in there. Can he manage the offense? Can he go out there and control this team and be able to move the ball? Obviously, today he'll be playing with third stringers, but we'll see what I kind of do want to see what Sam Darnold, has to offer. I am intrigued. I will say I'm intrigued, Peter Parker. I kind of want to see what Sam Darnold can bring to the table. So, yeah, Eddie says, I want to see what Sam Darnold can do. Will he be playing? He will. He'll be playing the second half. Trey started. Sam Darnold will play that second half. Maybe Brandon Allen in like the fourth quarter cleanup time. I don't know. But Kyle Shanahan says he's going to have Sam Darnold play a lot of the second half. So I think a lot of fans want to see what Sam Darnold brings to the table. My man, Aaron, 49ers first takes. Let's go. Let's go. Sammy throwing a cookie today. Peter Parker says he doesn't want any part of Sammy. 2 picks for Sam Darnold. Seeing the ghost today. I'm telling you, I think, and I've said this before during the week, Sam Darnold might show out today because he is playing against the third string defense, most likely. He's probably going to be playing against backups, players that might not make it to an NFL roster. He's been on an NFL roster for several years. He's played 55 starts. So don't be surprised if Sam Darnold shows out. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to hate on the guy. Let's see what happens. I'm excited for this whole team, excited for this whole game. I'm hyped, man. Anyways, we'll be back live later tonight. I just want to come in, hop in for a second and talk to the fans. We'll be live after the game. We'll be breaking it down. You know how we do. You know how everybody does that runs these YouTube channels. I'm sure everybody's going to be hopped on live, but if you can't, hop in when I'm live later tonight. We'll talk about the game. We'll go live for a long time. I know this is only 20 minutes, but, I want to enjoy some football, get ready for the game coming up. You guys have a good rest of your day. Enjoy it. Let's hope we get a dub. I love you. Bang, bang. Not again.